Hello?
Hey,
What is up?
is the volume okay?
I'm gonna boost you a little bit. Okay, say something?
Hello?
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Alright, so we are looking at a Cadena, I think. Also known as Nadakana. Some people
Not
were,
a kana. Yeah.
some people are happy. We're like, stop doing katas. I'm like, dude, it's not like I'm handpicking people. People are requesting, right?
Right?
Okay, so where are we at right now? Let me get my checklist. Ground progression checklist. We are at Cadena level 225. Is that what
Yep.
I see? Nice. How much time do you have to play these days?
Uh, play somewhere around 5 hours. Like it's kind of I don't really have a set amount of time. I just play
Mm-hmm.
however much I feel like. So,
Yep.
but I would say 5 hours ish.
Okay. Do you have like one computer available or two?
I have two, but I haven't really gotten into the whole like two computer kana thing.
Okay.
So,
Is it something that you're like opposed to, or you just haven't looked into yet, or?
I haven't really looked into it. I only started playing about a little bit over a month, I guess, like when the Corona thing like started and all like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the main thing there is that you can just use Fury totems, and you have the same result basically.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing.
Yeah, but then
For like
that's
checking
locked
out.
at like 30 hours a month to get that spawn. So if you get a Kana on a second computer instead, you can just always have that spawn. And
Yeah,
then the slight bonus is that you don't have to give up one of your totem spots, and you don't have to hotkey your totem, and you don't have to worry about that. You can just press Kishin on a laptop next to you. The downside is that the Kana can die. You have to get your Kana high enough level to be able to go where you are. Yeah.
yeah,
There's some ups and downs there, but so if you're planning on playing for a longer period of time and playing a decent amount of hours, it definitely pays off like very quickly. Especially also if you're building up your legion and stuff like that more, always having Kishin there, not having to worry about totems on all of those characters as well. Definitely speed up building your legion.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. How much money do you have right now? I'm gonna guess not very much because we had that Star Force event.
Yeah, I only have about half a bill or
Yeah.
so.
Mm-hmm. And what are you trying to achieve with your character and your gameplay?
Um, Currently, I'm just trying to inch my way towards solo Vellum. I did like three doors, but
Mm-hmm.
and hard Magnus, but can't do Seafell yet.
Okay. And how far did you get with Sivo? Is it the mechanics? Is it the damage? Is it
I think it's like a mixture of both,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. So
Yeah, because from what I understand with Cadena is there's a lot of optimization and animation canceling going on, and
yeah, I
Sivel's
haven't
tails
really
are.
mastered the animation canceling, so there's a lot of moving around
Mm-hmm.
while fighting, which is a huge pain in the ass. But
Yeah, with
yeah,
Sivel that means death, right? One of those red rocks
yeah,
stun into tail, one of the tails popping up out of nowhere, dashing into double poison spikes, one shots you
hmm
as well. Yeah, you got to be super careful there. That's going to be probably a combination of collecting a character, maybe being a little bit more careful.
yeah.
Um, One thing I would definitely say is if you check exclamation mark Discord, there's a link also to the Maple Central Discord. I don't know if you're on that one.
No, I'm not.
Okay, that one has like separate sub discords for all the classes in the game. So possibly
Okay,
you can join the Cadena, give yourself the Cadena role there, and ask for some people on advice specifically for Cvel, because that's like a little bit too specific for what I know.
okay,
But I'm guessing they can probably give you some tips on which skills are just too risky, which ones aren't risky. Maybe they know a good video of somebody who did it on a Cadena. Um, and yeah, in the chat, there's not too many people playing it. I know Nikki plays one, but she plays kind of irregularly. But I'm pretty sure she can solo Cvel on hers as well. And I think it's around the level of yours, a little bit higher, I think.
okay.
Um, so if you see her under, what's her name these days? Is it Semantic? I don't know if you've seen her in the chat. She's a mod
Uh,
with a pink name. Drop.
yeah, I think I seen her around.
Yeah, so if she's there, you can probably ask her. She always likes helping people with stuff like mechanics on, specifically on Cadena and on Chief, on Shadower. She likes those the best. So.
I see.
And she kind of wants to promote those classes if they're a little bit underplayed, you know, the pride for the class.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
don't see too many Cadenas out there, so.
yeah, you see some, and there's actually quite some high level ones as well, because the Maelstrom skill allows you for a lot of extra experience while you're just hopping around the map killing stuff, and then that skill. I thought the skill was already really good when other people were kind of like, I don't know about it when the third, fifth job skills came out, but it was even like exceeded my expectations on how good it actually is.
Okay.
It's really good. Okay, so that's for the general intro, and then let's look at where you're at and what kind of advice would be helpful for you. Which of the things have you already checked out in like the commands in my chat that you already understand, and which things aren't completely clear yet after looking at them?
Like I've looked at a lot of the commands and went through them. Like, I feel like I have a general understanding of everything, but like you can never be sure whether or not you fully understand them, right? Especially since I've only been playing for so long, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know like flaming, most of like the potential stuff, what I want in the inner abilities and whatnot. Kind of struggling with hyperstats, I guess, maybe. And other than that, it's just like still just working on like outside the character, like Legion and Lynx.
Your hyperstats seem fine. Because you don't have anything in critical rate there, and still hitting 100%, so that's fine.
Yeah.
You're going in general up to 8, up to 10, and then putting some extra points into the other ones. Yeah, possibly some luck and attack power points could get you a full level in boss. Let's see, 1, 2, 4, 8, 10. So that's 25. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 1, 2, 4, 7, 4, 11. Lots of numbers there. That'd be 31. Yeah, so I think you can get, if you... Well, so that's pretty min maxi at this point. But if you were like not to have any points in luck or attack power, you could get 1 extra point right now in boss damage.
Okay. Would that generally be better?
It would generally be better, but not by enough to reset, honestly, at this point.
Okay.
If you're going to be leveling more, you're going to get a decent amount of points extra. But I would just like work on getting your boss damage to 10 next. The one thing to look into, though, is that some of your critical rate might be coming from the temporary skill, from the event skill.
Yeah. I think I have 100% crit rate even without it, just because like as you go through my gear, I have some crit rate on my gear, so.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, there might be a temporary benefit from switching out something like your Phantom Instinct link for another one that gives you damage, right?
Okay.
Because if you would still have 100% without, because there's a few classes that benefit from going over 100% crit, but that's only archers. So for you, if you do get 100% even without the temporary buff with your current setup, then it means you can freely remove your Phantom Link and replace it for something else that could give you some more damage. But I'm not sure where your Legion's at, so I don't know if it's like worthy enough to switch.
It's still a bit a ways away, for sure. So
yeah, I think I saw it at the bottom. You were at like 3K or 2K. Okay.
2K.
Yeah. Well, you've only been playing for a month, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, critical rate, so your boss damage on the inner. I think Cadena want, what is it, 10% cooldown skip, right?
Oh yeah, it's like the 20%, I think. Cooldown skip is the best one.
Wait, does it go up to 20? Damn, hang on. I thought it was 10. Maybe I'm mixing it up with something. Oh yeah, 20, damn. And then attack or boss or buff duration on the other two. All right. But I'm guessing you can probably just keep what you have now until you save up a lot of honor experience.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
Yep. So for now, just a weekly dojo run and lots of bosses to get honor
Yeah.
experience. Okay, no other like glaring holes. You got a lot of IED. I'm guessing some of that is coming from your potential as well, but that's not a bad idea if you're trying to solo Cvil.
Yeah.
Boss damage is looking good considering low legion and considering some of your potential is going into crit rate and ignore defense, so that makes your boss damage look pretty good as well, especially since you don't even have the 10 in hyper stats yet. So I think all in all it looks pretty solid so far.
Okay.
Let's look at the links. Have you looked at the big link sheet that I have?
Yeah, I've looked through it. I know it's like in order of like probably the things that you should make first to like probably things that you shouldn't make early, kinda. Been going through the list. Just been doing kind of whatever I feel like, in a sense. Just trying to min-max in my own way, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still something that I'm working on. I started making some resistance characters just because I wanted to do HMAG and whatnot because of that invincibility frames.
Yeah, exactly. For basically CRA and up, you benefit so much from Spirit of Freedom link skill. It's so useful. Especially in Cval, right? Like say you die to Cval and you respawn right into a tail or a dive and you're immediately dead again. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just having that Spirit of Freedom there. In this case, right, you have some runes because your link skill setup that you sent to me, it's kind of like a mix and match of bossing and mobbing together, right?
Yeah, it's just because I don't have like more links than this. I have
exactly
like, the only thing that I don't have in here right now is Spirit of Freedom. Basically, these are all my links that I currently have. So
yeah, so it makes sense if you don't have like all of them. But that's what I assume when I see this is like, well, you don't have access to all of them yet, and giving yourself more access will just help you be more either completely dedicated to the mobbing or completely dedicated to the bossing. So one thing I don't see that you have right now is the Demon Slayer, for example, which gives you straight up boss damage.
Okay.
If you would replace the Phantom Instinct with that, you could go from getting 15% critical rate that is not doing anything right now to 15% boss damage instead.
Okay.
Which in your current situation would be really nice because you only have, or only, 112. If you add 15 to that, that's a considerable chunk.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're specifically trying to increase your bossing damage, that would be like a really good one to do. You have unfair advantage yourself. You have Wild Rage. You have Elementalism. Just going... Yeah, so if you would be bossing with that, you'd definitely be switching Phantom Instinct with the DS. And then Signa's Blessing, those can stack, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Same with Spirit of Freedom. Same with the... And then I guess you would go for the Explorer Archer... Explorer Mage and Explorer Thieves. And then replace your trifecta of mobbing, the Aaron, Evan, and Mercedes.
Yeah.
And replace those with whatever comes in with damage. So one of them would probably be the Explorer Thief, one would be the Explorer Mage. And then what do you have left at that point? Possibly Beast Tamer, but you don't have one of those yet.
Yeah, just waiting for the next update and hopefully get it then.
Yeah, I hope they make them available as well. I'm probably missing one in my brain. Let me double check. Hybrid Logic probably would be what you put in there. So it's the Xenon link with percentage all stat.
Okay.
That'd be useful to you as well. Because Cadena also has 2 secondary stats, right? In strength and dex.
Yeah, I didn't really know that until I saw that my range slightly went up from getting strength. So that was like the first time that I actually realized that strength mattered.
Yeah, but so that means the practical application for that is that percentage all stat will scale very well for you later on in the game.
Okay.
And in general, you scale very high because you get a lot of final damage from muscle memory. So the combination of those two will make percentage all stat really, really good for you. And I think therefore the Xenon link is also a nice one to invest into.
Okay. Didn't know that at all, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Well, I figured something was happening when my strength, when I got like strength percentage and my damage went up slightly, but I didn't really put one and one together.
It's not by a whole
Because-
lot, but it just increases the efficiency of percentage all stat just a bit more. So that does also mean that for flames, if you can center your flame score around percentage all stat, that will help you just make your item grow with you as it levels up, more so than if you go for fully like 90 luck or something.
Oh, okay.
If you can hit a 5 or 6% all stat line with some luck, that might mean that the item eventually just gets better than something with flat luck.
I see. Okay.
Okay, but yeah, as long as you know the grid and you're kind of aware of all the possible bonuses and of the ones I just mentioned, then yeah, like something like Judgment from Kinesis is really good in here. Once you get your 100% critical rate, that gets fully applied. Critical damage is really good. And then critical damage will further mainly grow through your Legion grid and through your... I guess we can go through Legion a bit now. And through your... what are we talking about? Oh yeah, the potential in the gloves.
Okay.
So right now you have some points in ignore defense in your Legion. Do you know about the calculation of IED, how that works?
Yeah, I know it's like it's a weird multiplicative thing
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So you get diminishing returns the more you have it. Kind of.
Yeah, and diminishing returns, the smaller the sources of it are as well.
Okay.
So the way you have to see it is if you add, so all of the lines of ID that you have, some of them get like chunked together, but like every chunk of ID gets calculated individually. So for example, it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 individual 1% in your Legion. It is like the grid bonus of ignore defense plus 6%, and the 6% line gets calculated individually.
Okay.
And what
So
that percentage...
technically,
Yeah.
the ignore defense is not that great for me right now because it's just like small chunks, I guess.
Exactly. So basically what a percentage line of IED means is that is the amount of IED you gain of how much you would need without it to get to 100%.
Okay.
So if you're at 90, you need 10% more. 6% line gives you 6% of that 10%, which is 0.6%. So you go from 90 to 90.6. So if you're so if you're at 95%, you get 6% of 5%, which is 0.3, and then it's like almost 0.03, right? So it's
Yeah.
0.0. Yeah, it just gets very, very small. So while your Legion is still small and you don't have a lot of pieces in your grid available, something like critical damage or boss, well, you already have in boss damage, but like putting it in critical damage instead would be way more efficient. Even though one grid of critical damage only gives you 0.5%, the IED will be barely noticeable, but the critical damage will be very highly noticeable because it's additive percentage compared to multiplicative percentage now.
All right.
Then you get the awkward setup of like making a weird mirror triangle going up and down and double mirrored and shit, and yeah.
Having like low level Legion gives me a lot of just like 3-line blocks.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it weird trying to go straight up.
It is awkward in the beginning for sure. As you level the individual characters up, one thing I often say is people can underestimate just leveling the individual characters, because just reaching, going from the B rank to the A rank just doubles how much of the grid you can cover with the exact same amount of characters. You don't even have to level your Legion. It just goes up by 100%. And then going from from A to S is another plus 50%. Like, it's a huge increase. As you're still building out your Legion, you don't want to have to completely redo your whole setup like every 5 days, of course, because that can get very annoying. But if you make a new jump to like 2K to 3K to 4K, I think those will be so every 2 levels or something. I would like readjust your pieces a little bit to min-max there, because you're working on it, so you deserve yourself to be able to reap the rewards from the work that you've put in, right? IQS Knight, thank you for the raid, my dude. Welcome. We're just helping a Cadena right now in the chat, J-Red, on where to go from here with his account and with his character, and specifically to move forward. So working on C-Vel solo now, and then Lotus and Damien parties probably soon after that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. So for Legion, what I like to do is just make a little bit of Legion progress every day, and then just focus on what is fun. Unless grinding a bunch of characters is fun to you, then you go ham. But Yeah, just a little bit of progress every day. I have the specific guide for Legion under !Legion. I don't know if you've seen that one, for how to level up your Legion, like kind of where to pause, how to get easy, quick experience, and where to like fund your character and what to fund it on, so that you have enough strength to be able to power level it, but also don't overinvest where your characters actually like drain money from you. If you follow that, then basically you invest like 250 mil per character, and then by the end of leveling it to 200, it'll have made that money back, and then you just reinvest it into the next one, basically.
Okay.
This is when I make the jump from 140 to 200. So typically everything to 100, Zakumen Monster Park to 140, and then just leave it there until you get all the characters, and then you'll be at 6k. And then if you want to make the jump from 6k Legion to 8k Legion, then make some investments, and then reprioritize according to the list again, and then get them all to 200. It's kind of general way I do it. In the beginning, there was a lot of you can kind of pick and choose which characters you get, because a lot of characters don't really make your character stronger.
Yeah.
But now almost every single character has like some usefulness. Like it was like, oh, marksman just gives you some critical rate. It's like, well, critical rate can be very useful, because then you don't have to put it in your hyper stats and whatever. It was like, oh, the explorer mages don't do anything. Well, now they have the mage link skill, which is actually considered one of the best in slot 1. So, well, now you have to level those too. So eventually just one of each just ends up being the best, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can look at the matrix now. God, I don't know what any of these skills are. What is this? What is this skill? This last one with the purple wings.
It's a specific Nova skill. It's basically Heaven's Door. It just gives me basically a free life that allows me to defy death once for like 8 minutes, and then it does like 1,200 damage 10 times or something like that.
That's the Nova version of the Goddess Blessing?
It's not a blessing, it's like an attack.
Oh shit, okay. I never.
Yeah, it's specific just for Nova.
Interesting, okay. I've never seen that icon before. Well, you learn something new every day.
It sounded real good, so I just put it in.
Yeah, yeah.
It does quite a bit, so.
Yeah, no, that's nice. And then the other one, let's see, this one changes the map into like a dark background and creates like chains when you attack something. That's the Maelstrom one, and that's the cannon that like charges and shoots a giant ball with pretty low cooldown, right? Mm-hmm. You have, okay, wait. I did the Cadena boost nodes like less than a week ago, so I should know.
Yeah, I was there.
You saw me struggling a little bit to find everything.
I believe I have the perfect like all.
Yeah, it looks like you. Yeah, looks like it. Because this is a scimitar, that's a scimitar. This is a bat, right?
So basically, yeah.
Bat brick scimitar.
Only one of the skills are like changed between the two nodes or whatever. Because one of them has a. Claw, I think, and the other one has the scimitar in it with the bat and the rock or whatever. And then the other one has scimitar, claw in it.
Wait, claw?
Swapped around. No, never mind.
No,
I'm messing it up now.
Yeah, it's bat brick scimitar, and then whatever the fuck that's called, daggers and cannon. And then these two are the same, just rotated, and these two are the same, just switched.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have everything. Cool.
Actually, everything is just rotated, yeah.
Yeah. This one is perfectly rotated by one, I think. Yeah, counterclockwise, yeah. Yeah, so the one really nice one is to have, because you have a built-in bind as well, so that's nice for bossing. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit weird in that the damage all applies at the end, right? So it's like, I hope everything's going okay, and then suddenly the HP chunks, and it's like, okay, it was going okay. You get the confirmation at the end. I don't know if you need like Venom at all. I don't know if you use that.
I don't. I have them saved up, as you can see. I just don't know whether or not they're good. I've read it, and I'm not 100% sure how it works.
That could be another question to ask, like the specific Discord.
Okay.
They would know about that. I think it'd be something that you add later on to min-max your damage, but I guess I think it doesn't really matter until you get into like the late game, until you maybe do Lotus Damien and beyond that, because then you'll have more levels and more slots available. And then you can be a little bit less picky on, you know, what makes the cut in the skills that I have available. Because yeah, when you start with 5, it's like, oh, I want to use my 3 skills and a boost node and decent hold. Oh, it's already full. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be pretty picky on what you put in there. But yeah, the cannon, maelstrom, those are all really useful. One thing you can do if you're bossing is, for example, rely on getting decent sharp eyes, for example. And then when the boss is almost dead, you can, you know, if you have extra lives, if you want to like risk it, you can always replace one of your boost nodes with Holy Symbol and apply it then, because the boost nodes obviously never go on cooldown, so those are always switchable.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's like, yeah, that's a little bit more min-maxy thing if you want to get some drop rate at the end. But, you know, the harder the bosses get and the rarer the drops get, the more of the chance of drop rate you want to give yourself to be able to get those things. These are all... Yeah, these seem all very useful for mobbing, right? Except for maybe that very last skill, but you said it's a pretty big damaging skill as well?
Yeah, like the last 2 skills, basically the Apocalypse Cannon and the Nova one,
Mm-hmm.
I basically never use, like outside of bossing. Like I just, but I don't know if, like, if I should use like Urda Shower and stuff like that to actually like for farming. Like I don't know actually
Yeah, I guess
how that works.
I guess it would depend on the shape of the map, because the cannon, it like charges and then does damage over time while it's charging very close range and then shoots at the ball long range, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a horizontal map and you just throw that one out to one side, so it kind of like kills things on that side, you move over to the other side, you put a maelstrom there, you come back, the cannon fired, then you put the maelstrom there and you rotate it around again. I guess if you can make it so that one platform that's a little bit far out, that you don't have something to chain to, or you don't move all the way to that corner of the map, you can just use the cannon. If you're not using the cannon at all, you could use something like Urda Shower, but it's mainly useful if you have a cube-shaped map where you hit multiple platforms above you, because it has a really nice vertical.
Okay.
And that'll allow you to just kill those monsters without having to chain all the way up there, because there is some delay on the chain and moving up. And a lot of maps have teleporters now, though. So yeah, I think it'll totally be map to map dependent. And I'm not sure about the hitbox of that last skill. I think you want Speed Infusion though to hit your attack speed cap, right? So
Yeah,
just
that would,
all your
that would
attacks
let
being a little bit faster, especially if you're mobbing and you don't really use those skills, replacing them with so decent sharp eyes, even though you don't need the critical rate now, it'll give you critical damage, so that'll give you more confirmation. And then the Speed Infusion will allow you to be a little bit faster and move around more.
Yeah, I have decent sharp eyes actually on my gloves, and that's why I don't have it on my notes.
That makes sense for now,
It's,
for sure, yeah.
Makes it easier to press the button on a macro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess the one extra thing is, like, if you maximize your attack speed, that'll also help you get out of the way with bosses faster, because all your animations will be a little bit shorter.
Okay.
So that does help you get out of dodge a little bit faster. And, you know, once you get better feeling, but you're at 225, so I reckon you have a decent feeling now on how far all the skills move you and where they move you exactly. I guess the one advice, mainly with CVAL, is if you don't see the rocks fall, you can never see like all the rocks falling, right? Because you can never see all the animations. If you do have to move like very far out of dodge, wherever you see the last rock, you can always stand like right behind it, and it'll always be safe because there's a minimal distance between rocks.
Okay.
I don't know if you have like a bicycle, but I always compare it to like the spokes in a wheel of a bicycle. Because like if you lock your bike, sometimes you hit like one of the spokes with your lock. But if you move the wheel a random amount, there's a good chance you hit a spoke again. But if you move the spoke just a little bit, it's always clear there because there's a minimal amount of distance between the spokes. And it kind of works the same way with the rocks in CVAL. If you just stand if you know what the distance is between them, and you always stand in between them, And it's all practice as well. You have to get used to like the rhythm of the things falling, right? You see an AoE,
Yeah.
how long is it going to take before it pops up? The only RNG one there is if you see the AoE of Vellum himself, is he going to pop straight up or is he going to come out, flaccid when he does like the poison stuff? Usually with the poison stuff, he comes out a bit faster, but he doesn't, no, a bit slower, but he doesn't kill you. The other one comes out faster and can one-shot you, so.
Okay.
And one thing I only learned after a bunch of C-Vals is if he shoots fireballs and then he goes back down, there's a hitbox on him as he goes back down. So you want to stay clear of his retreat after fireballs.
Oh, okay.
If you don't, it can knock you back. It doesn't kill you, but it knocks you back maybe into a tail, and then that kills you. So, it's all about like finding where you need to really control your movement and where you can go ham, I assume, as a Cadena, because you don't want your movement to be constricted too much, but everything, single thing kind of moves you. So
Yeah.
it's always going to be finding that balance, which you probably
sure.
found out. Okay. All right, so that's like general account stuff, and now we can go specifically into the gear and how we can move from what you have into. I'm guessing C-Vel is mainly a matter of practice now. I think mainly we're talking about like how getting into Lotus and Damien is gonna look like. I'm guessing.
I don't really have a grasp on like how much of everything generally should be to like even start doing certain things, I guess. Like a lot of the times I would end up being kind of like slightly overgeared for things so that like I would do it easily in a sense, right?
Yeah, because you're talking about C-Vel now. Like for example, my my dual bladers, it was able to do 3-door, but not C-Vel yet. But my dual blade is level 203 with like level 5 boost nodes. But of course, I have higher links and bigger legion. But it all depends on how much you really want something to be challenged. I always see the best mechanic in the game is damage. It can just, because it makes the runs faster, therefore there's less mechanics that you have to engage with in the boss, and it just becomes easier.
Yeah.
A lot of the game is just set up that way. So in general, to talk about, if you want to talk about like which kind of content could be available for you, depending on how strong you are, that's usually a combination of my progression thing and my dailies grid. So,
Okay.
so for progression, it's like a general, like, how strong are you? So I wish this could be just range and be like, okay, this range to this range, you can do this. But it just, there's still some guides out there, but it just doesn't work like that anymore. Like you've noticed, like your IED, your boss damage, your critical rate, your critical damage, your boost nodes, and then later on your arcane power. These are like your main deciders on how much damage you deal. And they don't, none of them like are shown at all in your damage range. So it's like that number just doesn't help you, doesn't give you that information that you're looking for. So we have to look at all of those things individually and kind of gauge, like, are you within the parameters of where you want to be?
Okay.
Yeah, so you would be like, well, level-wise, you'd be in beginning, late game. So typically the thing that helps you graduate from mid to late game is clearing C-Val and joining Lotus and Damien parties. So in that sense, that should be an easy transition for you. Or that it makes sense that that's like the direct goal that you have for now. But what you're looking at probably is if you get all of your stuff in your account in order to catch up with your level, like within 5 levels, you could go from where you are now to being able to solo Lotus and Damien.
I see.
Because there'd be huge power creep with more areas, more arcane power, leveling out all your boost nodes, accessing more skill nodes, gaining just better control over your character, and just practice on bosses. And it's going to be a combination of practicing and failing and finding out why you fail, and gathering intel on people who play the same character, maybe videos online that give you tips on how to do this as a Cadena, like where can you risk, where can you not risk. Because every class does have kind of that nuance on where do you draw the line on risk reward.
I see. Okay.
It can be a bit tricky. Some classes just have to, kind of go balls to the wall, and then it can work out, and other characters just sit back and kind of just, it kind of works out. So this stuff I kind of have in my head, but you're like main stat, you were a little bit lower, I think. You were like 11k, right?
Yeah.
Well, close to
I'm
12.
just
Yeah.
about to hit 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so if you look at the grid, it's like 13 plus, so you're pretty close to that.
Yeah.
So that mainly means that can mean two things. It can mean your potential in general is a little bit lower, or your arcane power is a little bit lower, or your legion is lower. Like any combination of those three.
Okay.
And if it's a combination of the three, it's very easy to make up for that 1k extra stat. So your critical rate is already 100, so that's good. Your functional damage, so your bonus and your boss damage together. So right now that's 283.
Yeah.
So it's here like, yeah, so 270 is like the low end, so you hit that. And you'll be aiming to like up to 400, possibly going way higher than that. I think during my burst, my arc is like 800 something. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Your kit will not be focusing too much on damage and on boss damage, but way more on final damage, which basically amplifies everything. So in that sense, you're like in a good spot there. But like I said, if you add the Demon Slayer Link skill, boom, that's already 15. And if your Legion grows, you can put more pieces in there as well. So that'll really start helping you out.
Yeah.
Functional IED, have you calculated your functional IED already?
Just because like I put some into the Legion, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe I'm close to 90, like 91 or so. Just because I have one skill that gives me 20% IED for like 10 seconds basically, and I can almost spam it.
Okay. So if you check !_ IED, there's a link here for calculation. And here you can just put all of the sources you have in there. And it'll just give you right here what your functional number is. So you'll have to kind of dig through your kit, through your hyper skills, link skills, legion, your ambition in your traits, like all of the individual sources. And if you do hit all of them, it'll give you exactly what your functional is right now. And the functional is what you use here as a guideline on what to go to. But yeah, mainly, so there's a disparity. Some IED lines only activate on certain skills, but sometimes you literally only always use those skills. So it's like it's always active, but it can't show as always active because it only triggers on certain skills. Another reason why the stat window in both range and in that is kind of like fallen behind on the game. Like it's not really fulfilling the role that a stat window should be fulfilling. So maybe that's something to do in KMS in the future, is find some kind of way to do like, here's your bossing IED, here's your real damage. I don't know if they're going to like overhaul the stat window ever to make it actually reflect your current situation. But until then, we're just going to have to do like a little bit of calculation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're already like visual already close to 90, and you're not. Wait, you do have it in hyperstats, but you don't even have like I think the level 2 link. You only have the level 1 Lumi, right?
Yeah, I only have the level 1.
Yeah, and you don't have the Mage Explorer link yet, which will give you another 9% as well when you debuff the boss. And you are already working on leveling your boost nodes quite a bit, which at level 40 all give you 20% extra as well. So you're right at level 30 and 37
They're
now?
all at level 30 or 31, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Or 30, yeah, 32 on the dagger and the cannon and the claw and that kind of stuff. No, not the claw. The claw is at 30. Yeah. Yeah, so you're close to 40 there, and that'll give you that extra 20% ID as well. I'm not sure how the hyper skills for Cadena work, but sometimes there's like hyper skills that give you extra ID as well.
Yeah, they're... No, actually... No. I believe... Let me just double check real quick, actually.
So what does that potion do again? There's like a potion hyper skill, right?
The potion hyper skill gives you 10% damage, I believe. Yeah, 10% damage, 10% crit rate.
10% crit rate. That's always unfortunate, because if it doesn't have 100% uptime, that crit rate might as well not be there. It's just useless.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. Because you're not going to rely on it, you know.
Yeah. No, it doesn't... I don't get any ID from any of my hyper passives. It's just like some boss damage, some regular damage, percentage and stuff like that.
Okay. But yeah, that's a good thing to keep in mind, and you're definitely close there, so that's fine.
Mhm.
And then Legion level is at 3k plus here. You're already at 2k and you've only been playing for a month, so I feel like you're gonna be fine there as well. The first like extra two, up to like 5k is super easy. You just make like one character a day to level 100, and it's just, or like even to level 60, and then slowly level them beyond that, and it's just easy thousands of range. Of Legion. That translate to more than thousands of range, of course.
Yeah.
Star Force, I'm gonna assume. Did you spend a lot of money during Star Force?
I didn't have a lot of things at 15 star already, so I got my weapon to 16 stars. I tried to get to 17, but it ate up a lot of money, and I got discouraged and stopped.
Yeah.
But I got my Connor ring to 17.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
I was kind of scared there because don't want to boom it.
Yeah, probably the best. If I'm looking through the Star Force, probably the best thing to do is save up some money and try to get some 15 stars next Sunday.
Yeah.
It's so good that you don't have to start. Dude, you don't know how much that helps you as a new player to just not have to safeguard it all. It saves you so much money. Like a no boom room like this is so. People like to focus on like, oh, we don't have badges and we don't have hearts, but like the amount of money you save with just events like this, where like we never had any of these things. Like we had to risk booming everything all the way up there. Like it saves you so much money. It helps you progress so much quicker. But yeah, I guess you don't really know how good it is if you can just use it. If you never had to progress without it, it doesn't, because it's just there, right? Yeah, it's hard to see the contrast. Okay. So I think we went through everything except for the specific. Oh yeah, and the flame scores. You're okay. You're kind of okay with all of that.
Like I used the command, looked at the general formula, looked at this progression thing, and try to match them up as close as possible, I guess.
So. Yeah, and weapon makes sense as well with the tiers and how that works.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
that's percentages on that.
Yeah, exactly. And which ones get flame advantage and which ones don't, and everything. You know how to find all of that. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, but look at your node levels. See, like you have like 20 on your boost nodes and 5 on your skill nodes, and you're already at like 30 plus here. So that's really good. You're already ahead there. And then Arcane Power, what were you at right now?
Arcane Power is currently at
350.
200. Oh, 350.
Yeah. So and the progression thing says 320 or higher. So so it's nice to have confirmation that this thing still kind of makes sense, and that you are also already hitting a lot of these basics, and you can kind of see where is your time best invested right now, and we'll take that into account when we're looking at all the gear and the progression towards new stuff.
Okay.
All right, so let's get to the actual gear. So Star Force, we already kind of went through Star Force wise. Definitely going to be looking at trying to get as many gains as possible during the 30% off. So I would focus on, because I think you're going to be replacing the pendants, so I would focus on the definitely on the CRA stuff. Like the Sweetwater Monocle and 3-piece CRA. And you said you were trying to do HMAG. Like, how far did you get there? Did you kill him before? Or?
No. I've cleared HMAG. Well, not by myself though, just because I still haven't gotten the mechanics down.
Yeah, he's pretty tricky.
Really. But I've done it with a friend, and just kind of barely squeeze it out together, just through mostly cheesing it. Just waiting out the cooldowns.
Yeah, that's how you do it. It feels like you're cheating, but yeah, that's how you have to do it. You just burst him and then wait out the cooldowns and then burst him again. It's, if they give you an RNG effect boss, then you have to just do everything you can to defeat him. It feels a little weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you clear him, yeah. And I'm guessing the Tyrant Cape wasn't really an upgrade for the Wings of Fate for you?
No, it just didn't drop.
Oh, so. Wow, that's unlucky, yeah.
Yeah.
Drop rate is pretty decent, but since familiars are not with us anymore, even things like the Tyrant Cape can become a slightly more rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what is the Cape clean again? It's like 30 attack?
I think the Cape is technically better if it just gets
50
some
all
all
stat.
stats even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 all stat, 30 weapon and magic attack. That would be clean. And yours is 28 attack, 56 stat. That's pretty... Yeah, but because they're flame advantage, you'll have an easier time getting a better flame. But you already have 12% luck here. And an okay flame. Maybe you can just... I don't know, man. Maybe you could just keep this one. I'm all for, like, just letting items that kind of... Well, because there's no set bonuses for the Tyrant. Star Forcing Tyrant is really not done because of how much money that costs. And you would have to invest the money in the Flaming and in the Repotentialing. And then the only upgrade would be, like... the only upgrade really would become the Flame could get better.
Okay.
So that's a lot of money invested there for not that much return. And as much as the Tyrant Cape in general is the way to go to, because a lot of people just skip the Wings of Fate. And since you already put in the time for the Wings of Fate, I think you could probably just skip Tyrant. Unless the one that drops literally has like 120 flame score on it or something. Then it's like, okay, this is like really good. Maybe I should invest in it, right? But unless you get something like that, I think what you have now is fine.
Okay.
The transmitter type, your secondary seems fine as well, but I'll make like I'll circle back once I see everything that you have.
Okay.
You got to increase 3 set Ventus. Emblem, we're definitely going to circle back to the Emblem. That one definitely can get a lot more damage out of it. The gloves... 62... Gloves are so awkward. There's like 12 different gloves that are all kind of not great, but they're all just... They'll have to do until Abzo. But with how strong you are, and with how solid your foundation already is, I think there's a very good ground here for you to learn how to play the character and learn the mechanics of the bosses with your current level of strength, and then make like a huge leap into Abzo. I think straight from here would be doable for you.
Really? Okay.
And that will allow you to just save up all your money now and basically only work on stuff like your nodes and your arcane power, and then just go crazy on Abzo when that comes within reach. Have you been doing the weeklies for the items?
Yeah, I just started maybe like 2 weeks ago. Just because like I didn't really know much of the importance until like I figured out like 2 weeks ago. So I just started.
Did you find the links in my commands as well with the information on which ones are bad that you want to reroll and which ones are good? Yeah,
I've definitely been looking at that
because for Scrapyard,
don't want to waste too much time.
Yeah, some of those Scrapyard ones can definitely waste a bunch of your time. The Dark World Tree ones are generally pretty good because the maps are pretty condensed, but Scrapyard is all over the place. 14, 5, 6% stat. Yeah, seems fine. Got a 6% luck here, 6% on the flame. That's nice. Top got 72, 44. Well, that's a lot of stat. Imagine getting some all stat with that top. That would be the Xenon dream right there.
Basically, yeah.
And you get 9% on the stat. That's really nice. For Monocle, as far as flames go, that's actually really good. 4% all stat for you on a flame is really good.
Yeah.
That's such awkward potential. 7% luck, 125 defense, plus 6 all stats. That looks so weird. It looks like a normal... I guess that's a normal, like a rare line. It's so strange. Okay. But yeah, getting this one to 15 will be nice. Are you close to the tattoo as well, or are you keeping what you have now?
Tattoo?
Yeah, the Sweetwater tattoo? Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Sweetwater tattoo. It's actually at Unique.
Oh, okay.
But for whenever I hover over it, like it's worse than the condensed power crystal, so...
Yeah, it's probably mainly because of the set break.
Yeah, the set break, the flames are much worse too, and all that.
Yeah. So the way you overcome the set break making it worse is by switching into more pieces from the boss accessory set that will also allow you to go into the... and even up and beyond, they go into the 5 set bonus. The 7 set bonus would be nice because you get some ID out of that as well. But we'll have to see at what expense. Again, like, you could replace stuff, but all the money spent already at what you have now, that's non-recuperable. And then all of the money spent in the new one to make it a little bit better, is all of that worth the switch, is basically what I'm looking at. Because you have some of those alien set accessories. If you would replace those with boss accessory set pieces that can get boss flames, that can increase the boss set bonus, is that worth it? Is basically what I look at. Because your current rings...
Yeah, because that's sense. Like the dilemma that I've been sitting around too. Like I just don't know how much better the boss set accessory is compared to like other things, really. Like it like when I'm generally looking at it, it doesn't feel that great. That's why like I switched to alien. Like I have I'm saving a bunch of good flamed like mechanator pendants and stuff like that, just like in my inventory, just in case like maybe that one's better. And so I have a bunch of stuff just in my inventory that I'm just holding on to.
Yeah, no, that's good.
About what I do.
Yeah, if you're not sure, just hold on to it until you make a decision. You don't want to throw something out and be like, oh, I should have kept it, and then you can. Because it's always like, oh, if you're trying to get something, it just never drops. And if you don't want anything, it's right there. Like that's how it always ends up happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big question is like, do you switch all your 3 alien fragment rings to 3 boss set accessories things? Because that would get you up to a 6 set bonus, and then swap out the belt on his shoulder for 8, and then swap out the power crystal instead for the tattoo. I think that's what we want to do.
Okay.
So it'll be like a big overhaul, but since everything is only quote unquote only 12 star and like 6% main stat, it's not the end of the world to switch out of it. But the main reason you want to do all of this is, yes, most of the boss accessories are kind of like shitty by themselves. Their base stats aren't that great, but the set bonus does end up being kind of nice. But most of these pieces in the set are considered boss items, so their flames can be very good, and that all adds up. Like the belt, both of the if you get both of the pendants, well, probably one of the pendants first, right? You're probably not going to just roll into a dominator pendant, but probably one of the pendants, and then the earrings, and the not shoulder. Wait, the pendant, the belt, the earring. Those all 3 now have flame disadvantage, right? Yeah. So those will all go to flame advantage, where you can just aim for like 60, 70 stat for each of those, where now you're like happy with 30. So that's like 90 stat that becomes available at that point.
Okay.
And it's all about like the little bits all adding up. Now the downside is that all of those items are already epic. But the upside is they're only epic with 1 line, so it's not like you've invested billions yet.
Yeah.
You will lose the 50 attack 3 set bonus, which is pretty big. Because that equates to like, well, we could do some number stuff, right? Because if one stat is like 4, one attack is like 4 stat, then that's accounting for like 200. So if you don't need the ID, it's going to kind of come down a little bit to what your functional ID is right now. You've got 20 here, so that's like 50 gainable. Yeah, maybe going up to 17. There's options is mainly.
Yeah.
But that's what you've already figured out as well. That's why we're here.
Yep.
8, 12, 6. Yeah, because you'll be breaking the Sengoku set as well. Those 2, 6% damage. And they're already epic with 6. That's a lot of moving around. That is a lot of moving around.
It is. Like, I do have, like, half of it. I would say more, or a little bit over half of the things that you're, like, naming. Like, I used to have, like, well, I used to be wearing, like, the horntail earrings. I have, like, Dominator pendants at, like, 10 stars and stuff like that.
A Dom or a Mechanator?
Or not Dominator, Mechanator.
Yeah.
And like I have those pieces still around in my inventory. It's just that like I thought this would be better, and that's why I switched over to this one, basically.
Yeah, they seem close enough because the 50 attack is really big.
Yeah.
They seem close enough where switching doesn't seem worth. Initially, if you're like choosing which path to go, I would probably still go for the boss accessory sets, just because of the longevity and the IED in this set, and the IED is a little bit scarce right now. But I guess some classes have a better kit that allows for more IED within it, and then you don't have to rely on those small sources. Because again, like the 10% isn't like a huge impactful thing either. But if you know, when you're struggling, then all the little bits help, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw you don't have a heart, by the way. There is in the Rise update, there's a Android coming out that you need to buy coupons for, and then that comes with the Lydium heart, so you can get that one there. Yeah, you have to buy like 10 separate coupons on 10 separate days, I think, and then that gives you the Android, and it comes with the coupon for the heart.
That's pretty cool. Because I know like hearts are temporary or whatever, right? Most of
so that one is permanent, so that's why it's even worth mentioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only level 30, so it only goes up to like 6%, 3%, 3%, but that's an extra 12% stat, so that's it's something, and like 5 Star Force or something. Major gains, but you know, it's it just feels better to fill that slot out with something. And it seems that you're at the point where that it would be like an upgrade that you could do something with. The main thing here is your potential on your emblem is not good. To be quite blunt.
Like I hit legendary, and I'm not really sure what stats I'm kind of looking for, and like.
Yeah, so it's depending a little bit on how familiars come back and how available all of the stats there will become. For most people, you want to aim for 1 line of IED and 2 lines of attack on your emblem. But a decent amount of people will also be able to get away with 3 lines of attack once you have that 8k Legion and you have that big chunk of IED in that Legion grid. Because then it goes up to 40, and then you have like a 40% line in IED, like I have right here. And they'll basically account for the line in your emblem and then some. And then you can just go full attack here. But yeah, saying just roll 3% attack forehead is a little bit weird, because that's the average cost of like 40 bill, I think, so it's a bit tricky. But yeah, since you have the IED and you probably want it right now, maybe keep it, but there's like rolling into at least like a line of IED and 1 line of attack. It'll give you quite a bit more range than just a line of luck and strength. Attack is just very, very good. It gives you just so much, and especially once you start Star Forcing past 15, you get a way more attack on the Star Force ups, and then percentage attack starts scaling even better for you.
Okay.
Did I skip your actual weapon potential?
Yeah, I think you might.
The chain. Oh, here.
Near the top, maybe. No?
This one also doesn't have attack, so it's luck, IED, and critical rate. I see. Those are all lines that do something for you, but not as much as they could. Again, here, so your WSE, your weapon secondary emblem, is your those are the 3 things that give you all your damage, and the main reason is because they're the ones that can give you IED and boss damage to make sure that your damage goes through, and also they are the ones that give you your percentage attack. And that's kind of why the misleading thing in range happens, where if all of those 3 things that you have all had 3 lines of attack, your range would be insane, but you wouldn't be doing any damage because none of it would be going through. So it's always about the balance between the 3. Yeah, and especially if you're like still expanding, it'll feel like, or still progressing, it'll feel like you're wasting this current potential. But the possibility of getting percentage attack just gives you so much more damage. The downside is that it's the Sweetwater. So how hard do you want to go into Sweetwater when the Fafnir is hopefully coming soon, and then you know, maybe even Abzo coming soon. I think, because what was your range, like 1.3, and then you have a bunch of final damage, and your boost nodes are already 20, 1.5, over 3, 1.5, and you have this IED. man, I almost want to like change like nothing to what you have now, and just be like,
Yeah.
just get better with your character, and keep doing like your dailies and stuff, and then get into a Lotus and Damien party, and then make like a huge jump into Abzo and get way stronger, and then just look back like 1 month and be like, I can like blindfoldedly crush everything that I was struggling with then.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's something that feels really good, because the more you go with incremental increase, the more you're making smaller gains and more inefficient financial investments with your mesos.
Okay.
Yeah, just small increases in general are just less efficient. And I think you have enough solid foundation here. Like the flame on the Sweetwater is pretty decent as well. You have it 16 star. Like your IED and your crit rate is solid. You can definitely min-max a little bit more on your Legion, where you put your pieces, and putting some more characters in your Legion, like the Demon Slayers, get that Link skill. You have a Kana in there for the boss damage, yeah. And I think that should get you to the point where you can start doing Lotus and Damien parties very quickly. I guess you're still rolling your Chaos Rings, so that's probably why it's still with this potential, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Just rolled into unique with the last roll, so I was just like,
oh yeah,
can't re-roll it. Don't have Master Craftsman anymore, so I'm just gonna wait it out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's fine. 12% on synergy, so you keep that. That makes sense too. Reboot Cosmos, yeah. Flame, boop, boop, boop. Flame on a cup is decent. Yeah, you even got 40 on this pendant, which
Yeah,
makes it feel like
dropped like that, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good. You got 32 on the belt with the set. Yeah, man. I mean, getting your Iron Face accessories to 15, and your CRA to 15. Hopefully, you can do that next Wednesday. You're gonna have to make some extra money. Make sure you do your Ursus, do your Meso tour, Maple tour.
Yeah.
Like train a bit here and there. If you can get those all to 15, that won't be like a huge increase yet, but it'll set you up for 17, which will be. I think that combined with the min-maxing in your Legion and your Lynx, and asking for some good advice on actual Cadena players on how to attack certain bosses and just practicing more, I think will get you at Lotus and Damien level like within a week.
Okay.
And then it's all about doing your weeklies to build up those coins and getting your drops, and that's basically it.
Okay.
And then, then going into Abzo. Abzo is all boss advantage, can get great flames, that can get great potential because it's level 160 tier, so it's 13, 10, 10 on legendary. And getting that up to 17, that's a huge money sink, so that's going to keep you busy for months.
I see. Okay.
The one thing you can definitely do to speed up that process is to get at least one extra character that has access also to Vanishing Journey and Scrapyard, possibly a Kana. So you can do the weeklies on that character as well to build up those coins faster to be able to...
I actually didn't know they were transferable.
Yeah, so the ones you get from the weeklies, those are freely transferable. The drops from the bosses, those are stuck to your character.
Okay,
so you can speed up on how quickly you can... I mean, if you get unlucky with the drops, you'll have just a bunch of those coins and nothing to use them on. But once you reach the amount, you can just stop doing the weeklies until... Because if you're only aiming for 17, there's no risk of boom. You're only going... you're just safeguarding it up.
Yeah.
So then you just know you need... What is it, like... 26 coins from Lotus, so like 120 of the Lotus ones, and then 140 of the Damien ones. Yeah.
Okay.
If you do it on one character, that's like, what is it, like 12 weeks? 11 weeks of the one, 12 weeks of the other one. So we're talking 3 months just of doing those. But if you have two characters, you could do it on, well, suddenly it's 6 weeks, right? It's that makes a huge difference. Yeah, so that's definitely one thing to consider. So if you would switch into tattoo right now, that would break the set. What else could you do to complete? I don't think... What's the potential on the tattoo? Is it like, does it have any luck?
the potential on the tattoo is okay. Potential is 10% luck, and that's really about it. The other 2 lines are irrelevant. It's like defense 7% and max MP 7%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you'll lose a 10 also at 5 weapon magic attack. Is it a big difference compared to the power crystal?
It's about 17k
Okay.
attack decrease.
Yeah. So it's pretty
apparently.
close. And what's the Star Force on a tattoo?
It is currently at 12. I just
Okay.
12 it when it on the 1+1 event, just because I could.
Yeah. And it has like no flame, right?
It has 18 luck. That's it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, that's something.
yeah.
Well, my guess is if you get it to 15, it'll probably be the same or already better than your condensed power crystal. Because that is pretty close, right? Not to compare like to my mom, but my mom would also really fixate on those numbers and be like, well, this is less, this is more. But if something is less by like 15,000, but your range is 1.5 mil, that means it only does like 1% of your damage, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you kind of have to see it relative to your range as well, and if it gives you any utility. So right now you can compare the ranges, and what you're doing is correct. But if the set bonus would give you ID, for example, or the set bonuses give you something that doesn't show up in your range, then a difference of minus 17k, but any kind of utility would always be basically a net benefit, because 1% of your damage versus some ID or some boss damage would always end up making your damage output go higher.
Okay.
So yeah, there's 2 ways. Is either Star Force the tattoo, but since you're at 500 mil now and you have CRA in your monocle ready to do, might happen that you don't have enough money to get up there.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that you could do is try for a better flame on the condensed power crystal if you're going to keep it longer, because that is also considered boss, so you can aim a bit higher there. Apart from that, boss wise, I like the 6% on the hat a lot, but sadly that's the only thing it gives you, so
yeah,
it's a little unfortunate. If it gives any kind of extra stat, that would be really nice. Let's see, the top was at 60 and Pence was at 6. Yeah, with 24. Yeah, see, that's like a nice one.
Yeah, it's probably the best one, I think, that out of all the ones I have. So.
Yeah, I think the cup was kind of similar.
Yeah, cup is like pretty close, I think.
16 and 5, yeah, and a little bit of strength index. Yeah, I'm guessing though that your flame income probably isn't crazy high.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You get like a few per week. Well, as you kill those bosses more easily, the flame income will go up. Are you doing Madman every day?
Yeah, I do the hard version every day.
Yep. Are you using like a drop coupon for that?
I haven't been making too much Legion coins, but just been using Holy Symbol basically most of the time.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because that's going to be, so if you're trying to build up to Abzo, but it's going to take weeks and months, and there are opportunities for Star Force events, and you do have money, you could go the way of transfer hammering stuff. But I don't know if you're like completely out of Abzo, moving into Abzo. I don't know how useful that is for you. So I would put that like in the back of your brain, like, you know, getting 150 gear and stuff like that from Rimuru, and possibly Star Forcing and transfer hammering into the Abzo. Like, that's a possibility, but I don't think you need to go that route. Like, it saves money for not having to Star Force, right? If you have a bunch of backups. So they'll probably be mainly. Have you been killing C-Zack already?
No, I have not been able to.
He's tricky.
Yeah.
He's a tricky boss. So capes from there, and like the shoes and the gloves from Rudibus and Grandis Black Market respectively. Those are pretty accessible to like pre-upgrade until you get into Abzo, and just not having to risk or well, being able to risk blowing up and not having the safeguard, that already saves you a lot of money too.
Yeah.
But that's too much now, because with the stuff you're already working on, and that's way too short. Like, you only have a week, and you're never gonna have enough money for that.
I don't really have any income for mesos basically, so.
Well, with that considering, you're doing pretty well for yourself. But yeah, so I would definitely look at the at contacting some Cadenas for some specific tips. I'm sure they can help you way more with your if you're having like some problems with the mechanic wise. But I think you can get into like killing C-Vel should definitely be doable with what you have.
Yeah.
And then moving into Lotus and Damien parties should come right after that. Definitely subscribe to the in my Discord. You have like different roles that you can give yourself as well. Try to find some people in there who are in the same situation as you, who want to practice these bosses. Yeah. But the main, just definitely keep working on your nodes and your arcane power. Those will give you a lot of damage. But I wouldn't change up your accessory sets, I guess. I would just keep what you have now.
Okay.
But also don't invest further into them right now.
Okay.
So the one thing you could invest into is like
the CRA stuff that I have.
Yeah, focus on star forcing that, and then your Sweetwater accessories.
Okay.
If you change the but like the tattoo there as last, so you probably won't get to that, I'm thinking, because I think the probably average cost is like oh, there we go. 12 to 15 during 30% off. Well, let's say safeguard, but no boom. No safeguard, no boom room. Boom, star catch, bam. 265 mil each. Oh no, wait, they're 10 stars, right?
Yeah, they're 10 stars.
Yeah, almost 300 mil. Let's say 300 mil each. So it's 900 mil on those, and then on the other two, those are 12 to 15. That's 300 mil each. So you're looking at 1.5, 1.6 bill by Sunday to do all of those. That's probably already going to be a bit much, I'm thinking.
Yeah, probably won't get there. Probably be able to at least do all the CRA, but I don't know if I'll be able to do any more than that.
Yeah, if you can't do the tattoo, that's not a... Yeah. If you can do the tattoo, that won't be too bad.
Okay.
Keep that one as a lowest priority.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get into money after that, then definitely look at re-rolling the potential on the emblem and going for attack there. That's going to help you a lot. And after that, I would say make a list of your flame scores currently and the items that are going to stick with you. So like CRA, cup, what is it? CRA, cup, and well, that's probably most of it for now. And then and like just look at what has the lowest flame, and then just keep saving up flames until they're almost expiring, and then just flame whatever was the lowest. And if you're close to the end of your flames, just stop there. If it's a decent flame, or keep going all the way. Like if you're only losing like 30 stat or something, it's not insane. But if you gain a little bit, you can just stop there and then wait until your flames are about to expire again, and then just bunch them up like that, so you have a bigger chance that you actually end with an upgrade and don't have to settle for a downgrade. Is essentially what I'm referring to. That's how I usually do it, especially if your income is rather low on flames. Because you don't want to have them expire, but it's kind of a trap as well. The game gives you like a few flames, but like, hey, use me, and then you use it and you downgrade, and it's like, haha, like, and then they basically force you to buy more so you can get back to where you actually were. So at that point, the flame is actually not a gift; it's more a trap on getting you to play more, right? So
I definitely fell into that trap early on. So
yeah, I think a lot of people do. That's how it's designed. It's designed to help, like to make you think like it's helping you, but then it's not. Really, you have to like kind of make sure you play the system and don't get played by the system there.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, and then the main thing is just going to be saving up a lot of money for Abzo. so you can make
Yeah.
that count when you get it. And then you're going from, then you'll be going from like 4-man or 5-man kind of struggling Lotus and Damien to being able to solo that within like 10 levels probably.
Okay.
Once you switch into Abzo with Decent Flames with like 2-line unique potential or maybe maybe even legendary potential. Once you have that emblem set, and your CRA stuff, and then and then you want to look at getting your accessories and your CRA stuff to like 17 star as well with the Abzo.
Yeah.
And you'll be redoing the flames a little bit by then. I would advise to keep your CRA stuff, specifically your hat and your top, but maybe also your pants, unique longer than you would maybe want to go to legendary, because they gain too many junk lines on legendary. So the average cost to get good potential actually goes way up compared to unique. It's kind of counterintuitive. So just keeping those unique with 2 lines of luck will probably be way better, and then focusing more on the Abzo, because the Abzo has less junk lines and gives you 13 and 10 lines versus the 12 and 9 on CRA.
Okay.
So cubing wise, those become higher priorities, and then flaming wise also, because they're higher level, so the average outcome for the flame score goes up as well.
All right.
And all of them will be able to be flamed except for the shoulder. So there's like 3 extra items, and your weapon. So like 4 items there that can get flamed well. And then hopefully, have you done hard lux? Have you been able to kill that guy?
Hard lux? No, I have not. It's just a little tricky.
Yeah.
Basically, just trying to play him.
Yeah, for sure.
But do you think generally I should be able to do it, or?
I think C-Val and Hardlux are kind of at the same. I think Hardlux is a bit harder, but I think with what you have, and if you rearrange your stuff like we talked about, I think you can definitely solo C-Val and get into Lotus and Damien party. And then I think like the point of getting into Lotus and Damien party is kind of where I put Hardlux now, as probably doable.
All right.
And then once you get to the point where you're soloing Lotus and Damien, that's where I would put Hellux basically. So that's like the step in between.
Okay.
But yeah, like as you level up your boost nodes more, that'll get closer and closer. But again, that's kind of like invisible progress, because it doesn't really register anywhere, but your damage just keeps going up and up and up.
Okay.
It'll feel weird though, going into Arcane River and then going back and then not having the Arcane River bonus damage and being like, well, where did all my damage go? That always, especially the stronger you get, those numbers tend to change a whole lot, and it's like, oof, feels a little bit weird. Or suddenly the monsters, instead of hitting you for 1 damage, start like clocking you for 6k, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it definitely hurts more as like a Cadena.
Especially you're going into FES 2 or something, and the regular mobs are killing you. It's like, what? Yeah, you're not used to it at all anymore. When we used to play, you used to play in areas where you would basically get 3 shot by the mobs you were training on. So you'd have to pot after every hit, or every 2 hits, or you just die, losing like 8%, which would be several hours of progress, and very painful. But yeah, that's very different. And then after all of that, you'll probably be getting your legendary. Probably keeping this until you can get the Princess No secondary.
What do you call it? Me and a friend of mine started doing Princess No and picking up the use item or whatever that she drops. You need like 15 of them or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're doing that on a weekly basis.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Starting now.
All right. Are you having any problems with like stage 2 and 3 and 4?
Not necessarily. Like, we still don't 100% fully understand the mechanic. We're just like scared shitless while we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. But
so stage 1 you just get teleported all over the place, and it's just kind of like whatever, just go with the flow and kill it. If you have a summon on your weapon, a soul summon, and you charge it before going in, you can use the soul summon to basically just one-shot all the mobs of stage 2, 3, and 4 and just blow through it.
Okay.
So you have a Fortuitous Magnus.
Yeah.
I think normal Magnus does like a 1 attack, right?
He just does the like straightforward dash attack, basically.
Does he do that? Yeah, he does that 1 time, right? It's not a.
Yeah, he just does it 1 time.
Yeah, I don't know if your friend has a summon on his soul, something like Hard Hilla or sorry, like a Magnificent Hilla. I think a normal Hilla is also a summon.
I don't think any of us actually have magnificent souls, so we're all just still struggling a little regarding that one. Anyways,
how can I see the soul? The Hillis Fury.
yeah, I think.
Yeah,
you just
normal
click on
Hilla is also a summon. I think that's the easiest to get
Okay.
summon in the game. So you can even just like switch to another. Well, so if you switch to a weapon, then you couldn't use it in stage 1, which
Yeah.
which is not super important, I guess, because
Yeah.
you're just getting teleported most of the time anyway.
hmm
So if you
Oh.
pre-charge on a secondary weapon with a normal Hilla,
hmm
they can get Ursus. Is normal Ursus also?
I have no idea about Ursus,
Let's
actually.
see, Ursus. Yeah, I'm
But
just looking through the.
usually what I do for like the
Oh yeah,
fish
that's
that
also a
teleports you
summon.
is I just put down the maelstrom and or try to put down the maelstrom before the fish teleports me and it does damage and it just randomly teleports me at the bottom to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
keep
Every
getting
hit
hit.
you're just getting ping ponged around. Yeah,
Yeah.
or you hit it with your bind and a bunch of other attacks, and then after that you keep getting moved around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, so but like a charged summon, so I guess normal Ursus and normal Hilla I think are the lowest level, most accessible ones.
Okay.
If you have that one charged and summon it at phase 2, 3, and 4, they basically just one shot all the summons and you can blow through a lot of the PQ.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, they'll speed things up. Yeah, Princess Snow herself, I don't know if you've she'll sometimes cage people and then but you can break the cage with normal attacks, so if you're duoing it should be fine.
Yeah. Since like I mean the skill that she uses the most or like her normal attack is a basic attack, so
Mhm.
kind of helps out.
Yep. Yeah, so that'll be after all of that. Then you go for like the legendary secondary, and if you have the
Okay.
Princess Snow one ready, then you can start investing into that. Then I wouldn't invest into it too early because your secondary is pretty fine where it is right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's gonna depend on how familiars come back on what your IED boss damage and attack numbers want to be between your Absolab weapon, between your Princess Snow secondary, and between your current emblem. That's gonna all depend on how familiars come back.
hmm
So that's like your next year of playing MapleStory, I think.
Well, good luck to me, I guess.
Yeah. Um, is there any specifics that you still kind of have questions about?
I don't think so. Maybe no. I think you covered most of the things that I was pretty curious about where to go. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
surprised at where I thought I was and where I actually kind of should be in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. I guess like I thought I would be like way lower down, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just a lack of my game mechanics more than rather than my actual character's power.
Yeah, well,
So.
yeah, I kind of like give you a hard time. Like, you probably just need to get better, but I think you're
Mhm.
playing one of the characters who's probably the most among the most difficult. Maybe only Blaster, I think, would say is probably more difficult to actually play properly in the game.
Okay.
But if you do learn to play properly, it has great potential. I would say even greater potential than Blaster. There's a bunch
Oh.
of like 275 Cadenas out there who
Mhm.
can train very quickly in the higher level areas where a lot of characters kind of struggle to progress there, and their damage
Yeah.
output actually becomes very formidable. So,
Okay.
yeah. But it can definitely be tricky to find your footing with the skills that move you around. That is completely understandable.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep all the commands up to date and make sure to inform everyone when we know more about familiars. That's probably
Mhm.
one thing that's going to be important. Definitely do calculate your functional IED just to make sure
Yeah.
you have that number, and then save that somewhere so that whenever your sources change, you can just keep it updated.
Okay.
If you're super curious about how everything is calculated, you can check !calculator and then put all of your numbers in there. That'll basically require you to give all the information of your entire account and put it into a giant calculator, and then you'll
Yeah.
find out at the moment what would be better for you. But with things like
Okay.
flame score and everything, I try to kind of future proof so that you're not looking at what is the best now, but in general where you're moving towards, what is going to be better then, so you don't have to redo everything all the time. So there's like an upside and downside to that as well. So mainly the calculator comes into play where you're like, okay, I'm 250. I'm maybe not going to be leveling anymore, maybe very slowly. I'm kind of trying to like settle in this position. How can I maximize what I have access to right now? That's kind of what the calculator will help you for. Yeah, I mean, if you keep leveling at the pace that you're going, you're going to get 250 in like no time.
Yeah, well, hopefully anyway.
Yeah, the amount of dailies is going to start piling on, and the importance of Legion is going to start growing. So, you know, the dedicated hours might go down as well, with, you know, depending how you are professionally and such. But yeah.
Okay. All right, but yeah, thanks for the help. I think I've found a little bit more guidance to where I should be going. So thanks a lot.
Good. Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube as well if you want to watch any of it back. And then you'll be able to find it. But yeah, you're definitely going the right way, for sure. And hopefully we get a more beautiful badge to wear instead of this one.
Yeah, working on the Antelian Guardian and also the 7 Monster Park.
Oh yeah, you're working on those. Yeah, that's good. That's good. NML. Okay.
All right.
Well, best of luck, and I'll see you in chat.
Yeah.
All right. See you.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Yep. No problem.